The cutting chill to the air outside didn't discriminate between those dealing in commerce or crime. Business was booming for almost anyone looking for dough, with no deal missed in the speakeasy or any other in the Windy City. Who held the purse and pulled the strings made all the difference between laborers, politicians, criminals, and kingpins. It was a world of vice or opportunity, depending on how a young man looked at it. 16-year-old Aidan McCarthy saw opportunity as he huddled several hundred paces to the west in an alley near Division and Wells. Snowflakes drifted onto the newsboy cap covering his auburn hair, reflecting moonlight like sparks from a lit fuse. The fog from his breath showed the heat dwelling in his head. With the torn charcoal pale-tot overcoat covering his compact, sinewy frame, he flexed his fingers, trying to channel any warmth to tips left uncovered by his mitts. Aidan wriggled his boot-clad toes while he counted the minutes until he'd have to get the drop on some patsy. The job was to rob a fella, and he drew fuel from an immediate concern to impress his North Side gang boss. Action, intimidation, and surprise mattered more than any momentary musings on morality. He suppressed any lingering Catholic compassion to keep on task. From around the corner he could see the target exit from the brass carry, heading toward the alley. The patsy's 6'2" height and wide girth showed he was well fed. The man was likely a bully, coming from a dive well known for quenching the thirst of Union stockyard slave drivers. The cauliflower nose on his face blended with the pug's mug, barely outlined from the sputtering street lamps above. There was no room for a halo. Aidan rationalized his right to take the blockhead's money. From the alley he shifted from foot to foot and watched his North Side gang accomplice approach the patsy with the ease of a showman to a lion's den. The bells from the nearby Church of the Ascension signaled that it was 10 o'clock. On the face of it, the setup for the robbery seemed to be going according to plan. Aidan's accomplice was supposed to have drugged their target's whiskey with a dose of chloral hydrate back inside the brass carry. Wooziness and confusion were apparent in the man's slowing westward steps toward Aidan's hiding spot. His tree-trunk legs came to a sudden stop, and his shoulders shuddered. A grimace showed suspicion. "What is happening here?" he asked Aidan's accomplice. "I've never been this drunk after just 3 drinks. You trying to double-cross me, pal?" Aidan would have laughed at the two ruffians had he not the intention to rob one of them. His accomplice, Danny Keegan, appeared in a pickle, so he shook off his shivers and darted out of the alley to help. A Schrade push-button knife lay at the ready in his right hand. The patsy slammed his fist into Keegan's jaw, sending him against a brick wall used to slow his fall to the ground. Keegan's head swayed before he could regain his composure. He was 6 foot tall, but as spindly as a pauper. A kick aimed at his head had yet to connect, being stopped by Aidan's counter-kick in the nick of time. "Back off and hand over your billfold," Aidan hissed from behind their patsy as he pressed the blade of his knife parallel to a robust waist. "I don't want to have to cut anyone." "What in the devil's name?" the man wheezed through a forced chuckle as if socked in the stomach. His shaking knees showed his fading ability to stand upright. Aidan pulled the knife away and jumped back a step to avoid being crushed by a man almost twice his weight. A flash of shame from his boss and his parents lit his mind before the patsy's thud on the icy ground smacked his own thoughts back to the present.